I can't believe what's going on. My mind almost refuses to. I feel like I've been put in a horror movie, and I can't seem to get away. I'm currently holed up in a building downtown. The only place I could think to go. I think they followed me, but there's no way they can know what room I'm in. There's like 30 on this floor. I need to slow down and gather my thoughts. I woke up this morning around 5:15, like every other day. Nothing special. I get up, I shower and change, and I head out the door. Having no pets or wife to worry about is nice most mornings. Although it would be cool to wake up to them some days. The building I work in is about 20 minutes up the road in a small town. It's a seemingly normal town. It has your coffee shops and one of my favorite spots. A few boutique stores and restaurants. But the biggest building in town is where my office is. Landmark Insurance. One of the biggest insurance agencies in the tri-state area. I work in the IT department there, which pays well, so I can't complain. It's a good life. Anyways, I left the house and decided to head to the coffee shop. I stop in and get a coffee every so often. Work's got coffee for cheaper, but man, it tastes like ass. I don't mind paying the extra $1 for an amazing coffee here and there. Plus, the people who work there are really nice. Well, the people there are usually nice. Here is where my normal day diverged. I walked into the building, and immediately something felt off. It was really, really cold. It is winter here, around 25 degrees Fahrenheit, but they have furnaces that normally run, and it's never been this cold. I thought, oh well, maybe they broke overnight. I walked up to the counter, and none of the machines were on. No fresh coffee smells, no fresh bakery smells, nothing. Maybe they're closed and they forgot to lock the front door? I stood there for a second and listened for any of the workers. Nothing. There wasn't a sound at all. The machines were all off. No fans or coffee machines or fridges. No sounds at all. I guess they must be closed then. I turned to leave and took about 3 steps when I heard something drop in the back of the building, where the kitchen is. I turned around and looked at the kitchen door. It's got a little window in it. I wanted to just leave, but something in me wanted to check on the sound. What if the owner was hurt and needed help? What if it was one of the workers trapped in a freezer, or I don't know. I decided to creep up and peek through the door, just to check on it. God, I wish I hadn't. What I saw was the most grotesque thing I have ever seen. And I watch a lot of TV. There's a girl that works here. Kelly, I think is her name. She was normally really sweet and cheerful and always running around the shop. At that moment, I saw her or whatever it was, on the floor, tearing into another coworker's chest. There was blood everywhere. I failed to notice this as it was slowly draining towards the door. It looked like her mouth was split open and at least double the size of what it should be. Almost like a snake when it unhinges its jaw to eat. Her teeth looked normal, but everything on her was covered in blood. I stood in horror as I watched it tear chunk after chunk of flesh from the other worker on the floor. He had been dead for a while, it seemed, because there wasn't a sound coming from him. I started backing away from the door, but bumped into a stool. I froze. I should have ran, but I seized up in that instant and couldn't move. I heard a few snarls, or sniffs, I think, and then the sound of shuffling and quick, heavy movements. I turned for the front door and bolted. As soon as I reached it, she spoke. "Oh, hello. I didn't hear anyone come in. How can I help you?" I turned back around to see Kelly standing at the counter. She looked normal again, aside from the blood covering everything on her. "Would you like a coffee or maybe a cookie? That always makes my day start off right." I can't believe it. She sounded fine and was acting like nothing had just happened in the back. "You really should answer me. I promise. The coffee here is great. And after that, we can become one." Wait. What the hell did she just say? Become one? What does that mean? Before I could answer, she was talking again. "Oh, yes, we can become one. I promise I won't be consuming you. That's only once a day, and you were lucky today." I couldn't process what she was saying. I stared back at her smile. Her visceral, bloody smile. A chime came from behind me as another older gentleman walked into the shop. He was one of the locals in town, who I always saw here. Before I could think about it, I grabbed him and pushed him back out the door, along with myself. He grumbled and asked me what the hell I was doing. I told him that Kelly isn't okay right now, and we needed to run. I got up and helped him up, then ran to my truck, yelling at him to do the same. As I reached my door, I heard a crash. Kelly had jumped out of the second floor window, right down onto the old man. She had to have broken his legs at least. It was a pretty far fall. I was going to run back over to them, but then she got him. I looked over at them, and she started throwing up all over his face. It was almost pure black and kind of chunky, like wet sand seeping over his face. He clawed at her, gasping for air, then stopped. She stood up and looked directly at me. She didn't move, but the old man was on the ground convulsing. It looked like his body was being rearranged from the inside. I threw up slightly and climbed into my truck, locking the door. I tried composing myself as I started the truck and floored it. As I looked back in the mirror, the old man was standing up, both staring and pointing at my truck. They seemed to have their mouths open, very wide, but I couldn't hear anything. I drove way faster than I should have. I just wanted out of there. I was headed to the police station, which was right down the road. But that thought left me as I passed it. 2 officers were standing outside the station door, mouths agape, staring and pointing at me as I passed. I nearly drove off the road and into another building. What the fuck was going on? The next few minutes were a blur as I sped to work. I don't recall seeing anyone as I entered my building, but I usually don't, taking the back entrance into our basement office. I've locked myself in the office, and I'm not leaving until I figure something out. I keep seeing shadows outside the door, but I don't think they know I'm here. I'm keeping the lights off and my laptop light low. What the hell is going on? I feel like I'm having a nightmare that I can't wake up from. I'm going to rest a bit. This morning took it out of me. I don't know if it's the police or what, but I think I can hear a siren or maybe a loudspeaker and something yelling something. I don't know. I'm too tired to work this out. I'm going to barricade the door and rest. I'll update you all when and if I can.